So it is true, DC Studios had a meeting with multiple journalists about the updates for all projects in the DC universe, or outside the DC universe as well.
Superman must suffer. His adopted world will die screaming. Where do you think I'm going next?
But I'm going to speed through a lot of the updates. They are exciting, but not as exciting as we initially thought. But for a lot of people who want to see a vast DC universe, I think they're actually making it. Well, depending if any of these projects are actually in the DCU, it's kind of not really clarified. Like, for instance, James Gunn is not ready to confirm whether Dynamic Duel is actually set in the DCU or not. I don't know why. They even confirmed other animations like My Adventures with Green Lantern, Superpowers, and Starfire. They even are making Blue Beetle, which is a continuation of the 2023 film. Heck, even Crypto is getting some animated shorts as well. They even confirmed that there is a Sergeant Rock project, there is a Deathstroke Bane project, there is even a Teen Titans project, but none of those were actually officially announced. The Clayface project, which was originally not going to happen, but they read the script and said, yeah, we can actually do this, but it doesn't really affect anything in the larger story. And while James Gunn is confirming that Robert Pattinson is indeed not going to be the Batman in DCU, and that Robert Pattinson is not going to be the Batman for The Brave and the Bold, he says that I wouldn't rule anything out, but Batman could show up in something else, but the actor doesn't exist yet. So there is a slight possibility that the Batman could show up in the Clayface movie. Maybe. Speaking of the Batman, Matt Reeves has yet to turn in a full script for the Batman Part 2, yet it's somehow supposed to be shooting at the end of this year. Which is still a possibility because it's still the beginning of the year, so. And for Batman the Brave and the Bold, James Gunn and Safran are not releasing details about who the writer actually is. But they said when the script is done, they will give it to Andy Muschietti to see it first. Which could possibly mean that Andy Muschietti may or may not be the director in the future. But if he is, he will be directing the script that is handed to him. Other projects that are apparently on the back burner is Booster Gold, Paradise Lost, Swamp Thing, Waller, and The Authority. But they did confirm that the DC Studios plan is to release per year 2 live-action films, 1 animated film, 2 live-action series, and 2 animated series. But one of the things that did very much excite me about this DC Studios plan is this one little thing from The Hollywood Reporter. DC Studios has a 6-year plan that would include an Avengers Endgame style culmination. Yeah, wow. I mean, that's very vague, and it could literally be anything, but for me, if I'm thinking about Avengers Endgame, I'm thinking about Thanos. And when I'm thinking about Thanos, I'm thinking about the DCU's counterpart, which would clearly be Darkseid. So could we be heading towards a Justice League Endgame style, a final crisis or some type of crisis involving Darkseid? Which is this me just speculating, but remember that time when Zack Snyder was looking at a Final Crisis book? Could this plan, these talks about a Final Crisis type event, an Endgame level event with Darkseid been happening for a long time now? Yeah, remember that picture James Gunn released with Zack Snyder? Now this is what James Gunn officially said about that. He said, "We knew that people have this view that somehow we have been pitted against each other," Gunn said. "It's odd to have someone who you're friendly with in real life be the guy that's positioned as your Lex Luthor, or I'm his Lex Luthor. It's such a weird dynamic that's been created between factions online." So they knew that this picture specifically would melt the internet. But get this, when asked about a possible creative collaboration, Gunn said that he and Snyder, who've known each other since Snyder directed Gunn's script for 2004's Dawn of the Dead, sometimes talk about different things. Is it just a coincidence that Zack Snyder happened to be in the same meeting room as other directors, as other creatives, with Peter Safran, just to talk? This is me just going conspiracy level here, but perhaps James Gunn did reach out to Zack Snyder, and they've talked about different things. They've talked about the culmination of this DCU. Because one could argue one of the best incredible things that happened in Zack Snyder's Justice League was the reveal of Darkseid. How people were excited about seeing a live-action Darkseid. This is just me wondering out loud. Like the Russos who made Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, perhaps Zack Snyder, with his incredible visual epic style, would collaborate with Gunn, who may be writing. Like how Snyder and Gunn worked together on Dawn of the Dead. They could be teasing that they will be working together on that Endgame level culmination Justice League movie with the villain Darkseid. I don't know, that's just me. There's a lot of things that are going to happen way before then. That could even be pushed back. Learning about all these different things that are put on the back burner. But I think this meeting between the DC studios and the journalists just reaffirms that there is a lot of and plenty of things to be excited for, starting with Superman.